We often hear that potential is a gift. We praise children for being gifted and talented. But what happens when that gift becomes a heavy chain? There is a Japanese proverb that says, "Vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare." But today, we see a third kind of person. The one who has the vision, the talent, and the burning ambition to be great, but lacks the will to move. They are the ambitious but lazy. They live in a torture chamber where they can see their dream life clearly, but they cannot lift a finger to build it. Why does this happen? Is it just laziness? Or is it something deeper? Today's story will uncover the hidden reason why smart people get stuck, and how to finally break free. Stay with us, because this story might just be the mirror you needed to look into. Once, in a bustling kingdom famous for its grand architecture, there lived a young man named Elias. Elias was not like the other builders. While others learned to lay bricks or mix cement, Elias studied the theory of aesthetics. He had a brilliant mind. He could close his eyes and visualize cathedrals taller than mountains, bridges made of glass, and palaces that floated on water. He was ambitious. He told everyone in the tavern, "One day, I will build a structure that will make the king's castle look like a hut. I will not just be a builder, I will be a legend." Everyone believed him because when he spoke with such passion and detail. He was clearly a genius. However, Elias lived in a small, drafty wooden shack with a leaking roof. Every morning, he would wake up with the intention to start his masterpiece. He would sit at his desk, sharpen his quill, and do nothing. He would think, "No, this parchment is too rough for my great design." Or, "The lighting isn't right today." Or, "I need to read one more book on ancient pillars before I start." He wasn't sleeping all day. He was exhausted from thinking. He was ambitious in his head, but lazy in his hands. One day, an old childhood friend named Thomas visited him. Thomas was a simple man. He wasn't brilliant. He didn't have grand visions. He was just a stonemason. Thomas saw Elias's leaking roof and said, "Elias, my friend, winter is coming. Why don't you fix your roof? I have some extra slate tiles I can give you." Elias scoffed. "Fix the roof? Thomas, I am designing a palace that will touch the clouds. I don't have time for menial tasks like fixing a roof. My mind is occupied with greatness." Thomas smiled kindly. "But Elias, you are wet when it rains. Greatness is good, but dryness is better." Elias waved him away. "You don't understand, Thomas. You are happy laying one brick after another. You are content with being average. I am destined for more. I am just waiting for the perfect opportunity." Thomas shrugged and left. Over the next 5 years, Thomas built a small, sturdy stone house for himself. Then he built a bridge for the village. It wasn't beautiful, but it was strong. Then he built a town hall. It wasn't a floating palace, but people loved it. Thomas became the royal builder, not because he was a genius, but because he built. 5 years later, the king announced a contest. The kingdom needed a new library. The architect who designed the best library would receive a chest of gold and the title of Master of the Realm. Elias's eyes lit up. "This is it," he whispered. "This is the moment I have been waiting for. This is why I didn't waste my energy on small roofs and bridges." He sat down to work. He had the perfect idea in his head. It was magnificent. But as he tried to draw it, his hand shook. The lines on the paper looked clumsy compared to the perfection in his mind. He tore up the paper. Not good enough. He started again. No, this isn't grand enough. Days turned into weeks. The deadline was approaching. Elias became paralyzed. The pressure of his own ambition was crushing him. He was so afraid that his reality wouldn't match his fantasy that he couldn't do anything. He spent his days sleeping and his nights pacing, terrified. On the final day of the submission, Thomas walked by Elias's shack. He found Elias sitting amidst a pile of blank paper, weeping. "I am a failure," Elias sobbed. "I have the greatest castle in my mind, but I cannot bring it out. I am just a lazy fool." Thomas sat down beside him. He didn't offer pity. Instead, he picked up a heavy stone from the ground and placed it in Elias's hands. "Elias," Thomas said. "How heavy is this stone?" "It is heavy," Elias replied, confused. "Imagine you have to carry this stone for 5 years," Thomas said. "Every day you think about carrying it, but you never pick it up and move it. You just stand there, looking at it, dreading its weight. That is what you have done with your ambition. You feel like Elias today, full of dreams but stuck in a shack. Remember this: you cannot improve something that does not exist. Be brave enough to be bad at something. Be brave enough to be average for a while. A completed shack is worth infinitely more than an imaginary palace. Start today. Do the small thing. Fix the roof. Write the bad sentence. Run the slow mile. Because the only way to let the genius out is to let the lazy perfectionist die." If this story resonated with you, give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend who has big dreams. Tell us in the comments, what is the palace you have been afraid to build? See you in the next story.